check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Test 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2.
And good afternoon, and welcome back to Lexington County Baseball Stadium in Lexington, South Carolina, as Case Western Reserve University, the home team in today's game. 3-4 in the season, looking to bounce back from what was a bit of a deflating loss yesterday against Swarthmore, 9-5. And on the other side of the field, we'll be taking on a familiar opponent. Ironically enough, two schools probably separated by about 10 miles or so. Will be playing each other down here in South Carolina. It's Baldwin Wallace enters the game as the 16th ranked team in the country and 4-2 on the season. And on the opposite side of the Spartans, Baldwin Wallace coming off of a pretty impressive win over Swarthmore in the early game yesterday that saw them raise their record to 4-2. Baldwin Wallace winning 9-8 in 11 innings. And again, Baldwin Wallace is trailing until late in that game, ended up coming from behind to win that one and won it in the in the 11th inning. And so these two teams will face off here today, a big game for both teams. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get you the starting lineups for each team, beginning with the batting order for Baldwin Wallace. Ryan Gordon playing third base and getting his first start of the season. He'll be leading off. He'll be followed by the center fielder. That is Dennis Rittlinger-Nyrider, the junior out of Grove City, Ohio. Mally Kilbane, the first baseman, hits third, and then Harrison Johnson in the cleanup spot. Sean Kolenik will be the shortstop and batting fifth. Eric Cood will be catching in the sixth spot. Justin Carinci, the right fielder, hits seventh. Joey Marisek will be playing left field and batting eighth, and Matt Terzola is the second baseman. He'll round out the lineup and hit ninth. Pitching today for Baldwin Wallace is the right-hander Patrick Straub. We'll tell you more about him in the bottom of the inning when he takes the hill. In the meantime, defensively for the Spartans, who will take the field in just a moment, is starting pitcher Quinn Saunders comes in from the bullpen. Again, we're a little bit on the early side here. At first base will be Dane Camphausen. Second baseman Josiah Harris today. The shortstop is Nate Arterburn, and third base is Zach Carinci. In the outfield, left fielder is Franco Alonso, the center fielder Logan Andraco, and the right fielder is Nick Harms. Doing the catching is Jack Anderson, and as mentioned on the mound is the left-handed sophomore Quinn Saunders, who was fantastic last season, particularly on this field in Lexington County, where he struck out 14 batters, one short of a program record in the game, and really was sort of the kicking off point, the jumping off point for what was a really good first year for Quinn Saunders last year when he was one of the top strikeout pitchers in Division III. But it has been a different story for Quinn this year, where he has struggled early on. Through two starts, he's 0-1 with a 13.50 ERA. He's made it just 4 innings in those two starts. He's given up just 4 hits, opponents hitting .267 against him, but walks have been the issue. He's walked 9 in 4 innings. He has struck out 8, so the strikeout number's still good, but it is tough to survive when you are walking that many batters. So we'll see if he can settle things down. And again, a tall task here in what is a pretty important game for the Spartans. You'd hate to drop your first 2 games of the tournament down here. And I believe there we go. Steve Grunberg is heading out there. He's going to drop the rosin bag behind Saunders as Quinn finishes his warm-ups. I know Quinn has been working on a few things since his last start, and was talking with Evan Faxon, one of the coaches on the Spartan staff yesterday, and he was a little bit optimistic. He said Quinn has looked good this week, looked a little bit back to his old self. That being said, he's got to show it in the game here today, and we'll see what he can do. But again, when Quinn is at his best, he is awfully hard to hit. He's going to miss a lot of bats. And that was certainly no better example of that than his performance down here last year, when he was absolutely fantastic. And hopefully he's getting back into some warmer weather, and that will pay off here for him as well. Saunders, the left-handed sophomore at Palos Park, Illinois, Amos Alonzo Stagg High School. Last season, it was against Trinity College here on March 12, 2024. Saunders went 6 innings, allowed just 3 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks, but struck out 14 in that game. So again, 14 batters in 6 innings were struck out by Saunders last year. And again, he'll face a tough task here today in a very good Baldwin Wallace team. 2 Cleveland area teams that are aiming to, at least entering the season, had high hopes of maybe making a World Series appearance, which will be just down the road in Eastlake this year again in the Cleveland area. And so certainly I think both teams motivated to do well this year, a little extra motivation, but it's been a bit of a rocky start for the Spartans, and even Baldwin Wallace with some early struggles as Ryan Gordon stands in. Gordon, again, first start of the year. He's appeared in 4 games entering today. 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored, 2 walks as well. Here's the 0-1 on the way. And a swing and a miss, 0-2. We'll see which version of Quinn Saunders we see here today. If he's the guy who can mow down opponents, do it efficiently and effectively, or if it's the Quinn we've seen thus far this year. Hard hit line drive, foul. Gordon had a good read on that one and fouls it off to keep the count at 0-2. Saunders, the lefty, he was experimenting in the offseason with a new pitch, a kick change, which is actually something you're seeing being deployed at the major league level a bit, as that pitch is down low. The idea, I think, is to get a little bit extra movement on that changeup, sort of like a split finger, I believe. It's actually the pitch that Clay Holmes has added to his arsenal this year as he begins his venture as a starting pitcher for the New York Mets. But Saunders with good movement on his pitches. He is a tough pitcher to face when he's at his best. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The changeup got Gordon swinging for the first out of the game, and a good start to the day for Saunders. Well, that is exactly the start, if you're Saunders, that you wanted to get off to here today. Let's see if he can keep it going against Dennis Rittlinger Nyrider, takes a first pitch strike, and it's frankly been a lot of off-speed stuff so far for Saunders. Interesting to see. Rittlinger Nyrider making his 7th start of the year in as many games. He's 6 for 18 for a .333 average. That one missed a little inside, and the count evens 1-1. Four doubles among his 6 hits for Rittlinger Nyrider. He's driven in 5. And a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Rittlinger Nyrider went 1 for 4 in yesterday's game against Swarthmore. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on it, just getting a piece of it to stay alive. Again, that, what I believe is a changeup, has been nasty thus far from Saunders. Lefty-lefty matchup. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Welcome back, Quinn Saunders. Where have you been? 2 outs. So a good start for Saunders here, who gets 2 quick strikeouts. And now we'll face a tough out in Mally Kilbane, the first baseman for Baldwin Wallace. Kilbane, 10 of 23, a home run and 7 runs batted in. And that misses inside, ball 1, 1-0. 1-0 offering from Saunders. And fouled away, 1-1. One from Saunders. Ground ball hits a short. There to get his Arterburn. Throw on to first. Right there for the out. And a very nice first inning. And boy, if nothing else, the Spartans could take a collective breath, because first innings at times have been a nightmare for them. And starting pitching, frankly, at times has been rough for this team through their first 7 games. But that was about as positive a start as you could get off to. So good job there by Saunders for a quick first inning. 2 strikeouts in the frame and a perfect first, and we'll move along into the bottom of the first inning in case Western Reserve will come to bat for the first time today. Let's go ahead and get you the Case Western Reserve lineup, which has been shaken up a little bit by Coach Englander, I think looking to generate a little bit more offense. It'll be Jack Anderson, the catcher, leading things off, then Dane Camphausen batting second. Franco Alonso doubled twice in yesterday's game, is in left field, and then Tyler Stilson is the designated hitter in the cleanup spot. Nick Harms staying in the 5 spot. He'll be playing right field today. Josiah Harris is in the lineup back again today, playing second base and batting 6th. Logan Andraco slides down to the 7 spot, the center fielder, hitting at .375 on the year. Zach Carinci back in the lineup and playing third base today. He's batting 8th, and then Nate Arterburn, the shortstop, will hit 9th. Defensively for Baldwin Wallace, over at first base is Mally Kilbane, second baseman Matt Terzola. The shortstop is Sean Kolinek, and the third baseman is Ryan Gordon. And the outfield, Joey Marisek is in left field. Center fielder will be Dennis Rittlinger-Nyrider. The right fielder is Justin Carinci. I will screw up the Carinci at one point today. Last name spelled the same way, pronounced differently, for the Spartans' third baseman and the Yellow Jackets' right fielder. Eric Cood is the catcher, and pitching to him will be the right-hander Patrick Straub, who will take the hill here today. Straub, a transfer from Ohio University. A senior from Naperville, Illinois, Matea Valley, 6'3", 205-pound righty, making his 3rd start for the Yellow Jackets. He, on the season, stands at 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA through his 2 starts. 11 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits for a .250 opponent's average, 9 strikeouts, just 2 walks, as he delivers the first pitch outside to Jack Anderson, 1-0. 4 runs allowed by Straub this year. 3 of those have been earned. Working from the stretch, even with the bases empty, sets and delivers the 1-0. And Anderson rifles that into left field for a base hit. So Jack Anderson, for the 2nd straight day, gets a leadoff single, and the Spartans have something cooking here with a power threat coming to the plate in Dane Camphausen. 7 home runs, 15 RBIs on the season for Camphausen, who's hitting at .452. Dane is slugging 1.129 on the season. He's got a .471 on-base percentage. It has been a massive year for Camphausen in his 2nd year with the Spartans, his 6th season overall of college baseball, as that one fielded nicely at third for 1 on to first, not in time. That was a nice play by the third baseman Gordon, again making his first start there. He's able to get 1 out at second base. And that will be the first out of the inning. So Anderson retired, Camphausen at first, and now sliding up into the 3 spot is the left fielder Franco Alonso, who's hitting at .391 on the year. And he takes that pitch inside, ball 1, 1-0. And that misses down and away. It's a 2-0 count on Alonso. Alonso, 9 hits and 23 at-bats. He scored 8 runs, driven in 3. He does have 1 home run on the year along with 3 doubles. Ball hit softly towards third. Going to be a tough play for the third baseman again. The throw to first by Gordon is in time. So some nice defense so far at third base by Gordon. Camphausen moves up to second on the play, so there'll be a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Tyler Stilson. Stilson, a productive day at the plate yesterday, despite going 0 for 3, had a run scored and an RBI and a sacrifice fly, also walked. He's hitting at .385 on the season with a triple, a home run. He's driven in 6 now for the campaign, trying to make it 7 with a base hit here, and Camphausen at second. He takes the first pitch outside. It's ball 1. And that misses outside, 2-0. So Straub trying to work around the leadoff single by Jack Anderson. Dane Camphausen, the runner at second after reaching on a fielder's choice and moving up on a ground out. Chopper, third base side. This one will go foul. Gordon denied the opportunity, at least there, to be involved in all 3 outs in the inning. Pardon me, I think that's not Gordon at third base. I might have messed that up when I entered the lineup here. That's number 27 out there. As a called strike brings the count to 2-2. Carson Petreka. Let me see what I have here on my lineup sheet. 2-2, swung on and missed that, and that'll be strike 3, and that ends the inning. So Straub works around some trouble, and we'll move to the top of the second. Scoreless, Quinn Saunders coming back out to pitch for the Spartans when we come back. Harrison Johnson set to lead things off as we begin the second inning. Quinn Saunders sat the side down in order on 13 pitches, 10 of which were strikes. That's about as good as you could have asked for Quinn, as that ball hit in the air hard towards right, but on the first pitch, Harrison Johnson flies out to Nick Harms for the first out of the inning. there's one gone. Well, again, it has been a different Quinn Saunders today, and certainly a positive there. It's, I joke about it with my kids sometimes, with my wife, and we talk about how, you feel like if your kid misses a nap, well, that's it for the naps. It's gone forever. They're just going to stay awake, or if they have a bad night's sleep, it's going to be a bad night forever. And I bring that up in comparison to today because, and Quinn on the mound, I think sometimes, you start the season, you have a bad start or two, and you think to yourself, or if you're watching Quinn, it's like, man, is this guy going to ever find it again as the ball grounded to second base? Harris, an easy throw to first to retire Kolenic, and there's two gone. You have that bad start or two, and I'm sure, without talking to Quinn, there's got to be that piece in your mind, hey, maybe I lost it. Maybe it'll never come back. Maybe the magic's gone. Maybe you're thinking that if you're a fan watching at home. And the truth is that Quinn Saunders is a really talented, good pitcher, and he's probably going to find his way back to some level of success, and hopefully that's what we're moving towards here today. Certainly 5 outs is not a season make, but it's been a much better look to Quinn so far here today than what we've seen so far this season, as he sat down the first 5 in a row and will now face the catcher, Eric Cood, who wisely takes the first pitch outside, and he might be taking till he gets a strike here because it has been a quick inning thus far for Saunders. Nope, he's swinging there, grounds it to second. Harris with the chance and throws out the runner, and that is a very quick inning for Saunders. And it is scoreless. We'll go to the second. Harms, Harris, and Andraco due up when we get back. Welcome back once again. Case Western Reserve and Baldwin Wallace scoreless through an inning and a half. We do have a lineup change for Baldwin Wallace. The new third baseman is number 27, Carson Petreka. And that actually came in after the top of the first. Gordon taken out of the game. An injury, so his first start of the season was a brief one, as Harms grounds that to first base, backhanded there, and taken to the bag by Kilbane for the out. And there is one gone. So 1 out, and Josiah Harris will be the batter. Harris 1 for 8 to start his season, making his third start of the year. Harris is a guy that could be a real spark plug when he's going well at the plate. Saw that his freshman year. Coach Englander said this a while ago about Josiah, but Josiah was the team's number 2 hitter when they made their tournament appearance 2 years ago in 2023. Takes that. And had a fantastic season that year, but one of the things that Coach Englander said is that when we have been at our best as a team, as that ball grounded up towards second base, I'll finish that thought in a moment, is a throw on to first in time to get Harris. One of the things that Coach Englander said was that when we are at our best as our team, our number 2 hitter has been good, and that exemplifies what Josiah did for this team back during that 2023 season. And then last year, struggled, was battling some injuries and other stuff, and, never really got his season going, but he's got such potential to be a factor in this lineup if he can get things going. Pitch taken for a ball by Logan Andraco, who slides down in the lineup out of the 3 hole down to the 7 spot. He's 9 of 24 on the year with 2 doubles, 2 triples, 2 runs batted in. That one's fouled away. I think there's a general assumption that you hit anywhere in the lineup and it's essentially the same thing. You go up to the plate, you swing the bat, and sometimes different positions in the lineup can affect how you approach the plate, and some guys mesh better with certain spots in the lineup based on skill set. And I'm curious to see with Logan, who was in the 3 spot in the lineup for a while, has a swing and a miss there, and that's strike 3. And that'll end the inning, a 1-2-3 inning for Straub. But it'll be interesting to see with Logan if maybe now he's moved out of that run producer spot in the 3 hole, if that, kind of makes him more productive. Not that he was having a bad season anyway, but that being said, he strikes out there, and we'll move into the top of the 3rd inning in a scoreless game between Baldwin Wallace and Case Western Reserve. A little more pitching today than we saw in yesterday's games, as there were a lot of runs early in both. Quinn Saunders back out to the hill. He'll face the bottom of the order. Carinci, Marisek, and Terzola when we come back. Six up, 6 down for Quinn Saunders so far in this one. Through all 5 pitches to get his 3 outs in the 2nd inning. And now here in the 3rd, Baldwin Wallace sending the bottom of the order to the plate. Carinci, Marisek, and Terzola due up. Saunders, the sophomore, will face Justin Carinci here. Carinci, a .333 hitter on the season. Saunders sets and delivers his first pitch, and that missed somewhere for a ball, 1-0. Awfully like a strike from up here, but again, my angle on height of pitches is not great from up here. The 1-0 down and in for a ball, 2-0. Quinn has been efficient so far. Entered the inning with 18 pitches, 14 of which were strikes. Throws the first 2 pitches of the 3rd inning outside the zone, and behind in the count now, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 offering. That's a strike on the inside corner. 2-1 now on Carinci. Justin Carinci, 7 hits in 21 at-bats, including a triple and an RBI. Squares to bunt here and bunts it foul. Count comes even at 2-2. Carinci hit out of the 2 spot in yesterday's game. He went 1 for 4 with 2 runs scored in the 9-8 win over Swarthmore. That one on the inside corner, a called strike 3. Carinci down looking. And that's 1 out here in the 3rd. So Joey Marisek will be the batter now. Marisek hitting .235 on the season, 4 for 17. Swings and tips back the first pitch. It's 0-1. Now the 0-1 offering. And a little low. Anderson tried to frame that on the outside corner, but the count evens 1-1. Marisek, 4 hits and 17 at-bats, including a double. He scored 5 runs. Yet to drive a run in this year. Here's the 1-1. Squares to bunt. Gets it out in front of the mound. Saunders with it is going to have to hurry the throw, and it's wild and gets away. Staying at first base is Marisek, but that'll be an error on Saunders on the throw, allowing Marisek to reach. He's the first base runner of the day for Baldwin Wallace. That's one if you're Saunders, and he's got to make sure he takes a deep breath here, collects himself, and focuses on the hitter. Can't get too upset over those, but I think that's one if you're Saunders, if you're going to look back at that. That's a tough play for a lefty because the way you approach the ball, you kind of have to spin around and throw it to first. As that's down low for ball 1 to Terzola, 313 hitter on the year. But I think Saunders, what he kind of did was he took his time getting to the ball and then rushed the throw a little bit, and I think you're better off switching that approach. Rush to get the ball and then take your time throwing to first base. On the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1 with 1 away and a runner on. So Baldwin Wallace with a runner at first. The 9-hitter Terzola at the plate, 5 for 16 on the year with 7 runs batted in and 5 runs scored. Fouls that one down the third baseline, and it's 1-2. Now the 1-2 to Terzola. Marisek takes his lead. Stolen 3 bases on 3 attempts this year. Saunders throws down to first. Not in time. Now Saunders is 1-2. And that's on the outside corner. Freezes him with the changeup for strike 3. Nice job there by Saunders. He gets his 2nd strikeout of the inning and his 4th of the game. And now with 2 away, Carson Petreka will be the batter. Again, Petreka came into the game in the bottom of the 1st inning. A sophomore, out of Willowick, Ohio. 6'3", 185 pounds. We saw Ryan Gordon get the start today, but came out of the game due to injury. Petreka 0 for 3 on the season. Pitch from Saunders. Above the letters for ball 1, 1-0. Petreka played first in yesterday's game. Runner will go. Big jump on Saunders and no chance for Anderson, who will eat that ball. A stolen base for Marisek. Again, he had a massive jump on Saunders there. So he moves into scoring position. Meanwhile, it goes to 2-0 count at the plate. Here's the 2-0. And just off the outside, like he tried for a backdoor slider there, but it misses for ball 3. So 3-0. See how aggressive Petreka is here. Again, no hits this season for him, but with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, if you get a pitch to hit, you don't hate taking a swing at this one. And he takes one right down the middle. It's a called strike, 3-1. I don't think it could go wrong there either way, and some of it is knowing the player, which, and clearly I don't know Carson Petreka very well, or how good a hitter he is or isn't. I could just look at the 0-5, which is not very much of a telling stat at all at this point in the season. But, you know, if you're going to get a pitch to hit here with 2 outs, you might as well take it and try to drive the runner in. And that's what he's going to do here. Is that one sent into right center field, and it's down for extra bases. Rounding the corner at third and scoring easily is Marisek. Heading into second with an RBI double is Petreka, and it's 1-0 Baldwin Wallace in the third. There will be an unearned run against Saunders after Marisek reached on the error earlier in the inning. Now 2 outs, 1-0 the score. First hit of the game there off Saunders. Now the 2-hitter, Dennis Rittlinger Nyrider, will be the batter. And he takes that pitch up and out, ball 1. Rittlinger Nyrider struck out in his first at bat against Saunders, who is now up to 36 pitches in the game, 24 of which have been strikes. It's by far been his most laborious inning on the mound. Had not allowed a base runner before this inning. He's behind again, 2-0. And, you know, for Saunders, just kind of looking at it, you could see, I think where he struggles a little bit is when he's pitching from behind, which, you know, again, that's not unusual, but when he's gotten ahead in the count, he has been tough today. It's when he's fallen behind 2-0 against a couple batters this inning that he struggled. It's in there for a called strike, 2-1. From Saunders. Runner at second and 2 away. 1-0 Baldwin Wallace. Off the plate, ball 3, 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch. First base open with 2 outs. And that's called a ball. Ball 4. So Rittlinger Nyrider takes that first walk today, issued by Saunders, and that'll put a runner at first and second for Mally Kilbane, the 3-hitter. And, you know, again, it's one of those scenarios is head coach Steve Grunberg is going to head out to the mound, where if you're Saunders here, okay, you'll let in the one run, and that's, with 2 outs, maybe a bit of a blow here. But what you don't want this to turn into is what we saw yesterday, where all of a sudden 1 2-out run turns into, 4 or 5 runs with 2 outs. And so Saunders is going to have to bear down here a little and see if he can lock in and get this final out. Meeting probably serving a bit of a dual purpose. They want to talk about how to approach Kilbane here, but at the same time, I think there's also a little bit of a chance to give Saunders a breather, who is up to 22 pitches this inning after a pretty quick first 2 innings. Saunders will head back to the mound here after the meeting breaks up. So Kilbane at the plate, right-handed hitter, facing the lefty Saunders with 2 away and 2 on. That ball in the air, deep towards center. Going back is Andreyko, and he makes the catch on the run. So first pitch swinging, Kilbane trying to jump on a first pitch fastball, but Andreyko able to track it down. And that gets us through the third as Baldwin Wallace picks up a run on a error and a 2-out RBI double by Petreka, and we'll move along into the bottom of the third. 1-0 the score. Baldwin Wallace on top. 8-9-1 for the Spartans. Carinci, Arterburn, and Anderson due up when we come back. Baldwin Wallace first to get on the board in this one in what appears to be a good pitching matchup through the first 2.5 innings. Patrick Straub so far looking strong. And we'll face the bottom 2 in the Spartans order, Carinci and Arterburn, before coming back to the top for Jack Anderson. Carinci coming to bat. He's just 1 for 5 this year with an RBI. He's not had a ton of opportunity at the plate in, what is his 5th year with the Spartans? First pitch on the way. Outside, ball 1. You want to know the count on Carinci. You get the feeling, or at least I get the feeling. I don't know what anyone else is feeling, but I think Zach's going to find his way on this team and how to make an impact on this team as that one skied fouling out of play. I'm not sure if it's a third baseman. I'm not sure if it's somewhere else on the field, second, or is it DH, or is shortstop. I don't know if it's going to be as a pitcher, where he was extremely successful early on in his career, but you get the feeling Zach will have his impact, and it'll be a positive one on this team. It's just a question of where it's going to be, and it may take a little bit for him to find his way. He's been through, as good a player as he's been for the Spartans, he's been through a lot of injuries over the last few years. Is healthy now, but sometimes that could take a toll on your body too, as he grounds out to second base for the first out of the third. One quickly retired by Straub. And now Nate Arterburn will be the batter. Arterburn hitting a 200 on the year. Had a really nice at-bat late in the game yesterday, where he was able to pick up a base hit after seeing 10 pitches in the at-bat. Checks his swing there, holds on, and takes it for ball one, 1-0. Now the 1-0 offering, and it's fouled back, 1-1. One to nothing, Baldwin Wallace leading, each team with one hit so far in the game. Called strike brings it to 1-2. Baldwin Wallace taking advantage of an error last inning. And eventually scoring on an RBI double by Petreka. 2-2 now the count as Arterburn takes that one low. Two on the way to Arterburn. Down and out, ball three. That ball lifted in the air pretty deep towards left center field, but should be playable. And dropping it in left center field is the left fielder, Joey Marasek. He had that one lined up. That's going to be a two-base error. A little nonchalant getting to that one. He had a long way to go, but kind of did that half stick your glove out to the side move, and the ball just popped right out of his glove. So that'll be a costly, potentially costly mistake, as not only do the Spartans now have a man in scoring position with one out, but they're going back to the dangerous part of this lineup as Jack Anderson and Dane Camphausen do up. The two each preseason All-Americans. Anderson 1 for 1 with a base hit to lead off the game. He's now hitting a 281 on the year. Still waiting for Jack to get hot. Swinging strike, and it's 1-1. That ball hit hard, deep towards right field, back towards the wall, looking up, and it's gone. Jack Anderson with a two-run blast, his first of the season, and the Spartans take a 2-1 lead. Well, Jack Anderson, who has been playing fine, but certainly maybe a bit off from where his best, is able to break through there, and a big hit for him. And you could see Jack coming back to the dugout, just trying to fire his guys up. But the Spartans, after Baldwin Wallace scores a run in the top of the inning, the Spartans answering with two here in the second. Now Dane Camphausen, a power threat of his own at the plate. 0 for 1 after grounding into the fielder's choice in the first. Takes the first pitch strike, and it's 0-1. Now the 0-1, Anderson checking his, or pardon me, Camphausen tried to check his swing but couldn't hold up. And the count now at 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Camphausen went chasing. And that will be the second out of the inning. Third strikeout of the game for Straub. And now Franco Alonso will be the batter with 2 outs and the bases empty. Ball 1. 1, 1-0. One and one. And a called strike 3. Alonso takes the strike at the knees, and that'll end the inning. So Straub, after giving up the 2-run home run, buckles down and gets back-to-back strikeouts, but the Spartans take the lead on a 2-run homer by Jack Anderson, and we'll go into the 4th with Case Western Reserve leading 2-1. Saunders back out to the mound. We'll take on Johnson, Kolenick, and Cood when we return, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Baldwin Wallace. Two to one the score as the Spartans have taken the lead. Quinn Saunders trying to protect it here. Starts off Johnson with the called strike on one. Johnson flew out to right field his first time up. In the count 0-2 on Saunders. As that pitch taken, ball one. Now the 1-2. Called strike 3. Johnson throws him by Saunders there, who collects his 5th strikeout of the game. And there's one out now in the inning. grounded out to second base back in the second inning. It's part of the 5-pitch inning for Saunders. Two-0 count coming. Three-0 on the way. Down and in, ball 4, so the walk issued to Kolinek. Comes with 1 out of the inning and the base is empty.
The catcher for Baldwin, Wallace, number 16, hitter Cood.
Now Cood, the left-handed hitter at the plate, takes ball 1. So Saunders, all of a sudden, struggling to find the strike zone here. Called strike. 1-1. Chopper foul, and it's 1-2. And that's in the dirt, gets away. Brings it to a 2-2 count, but moving up to second base on a wild pitch is Kolinek. And so he's in scoring position with 1 away now. Top of the 4th inning, 2-1 Spartans leading on a 2-run home run by Jack Anderson. Baldwin Wallace threatening to tie the game. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And it's in there, a called strike 3. Another strikeout for Saunders, his 2nd of the inning, 6th of the game now. Called strike, and it's 0-1. Carinci struck out looking in his first at bat. That one up and in, 1-1 the count. Carinci now hitting at .318 on the season. An RBI opportunity here for him with a runner on second base. He's driven in 1 this year. Saunders trying to get through a scoreless top of the 4th, preserve a 1-run lead for the team. Here's the 1-1. That ball into the air, deep towards left field. Going back is Alonso, still going back, and it's off the base of the wall. Scoring easily from second is Kolinek. And going to second base on the RBI double is Carinci, and this game is tied again. It's 2-2. Called strike. And it's 0-1 on Marisek. Marisek reached on an error and scored the first run of the game for Baldwin Wallace. Chopper foul. And so an 0-2 count now. That was the 60th pitch of the game for Saunders. Two teams that were nationally ranked to start the season still are nationally ranked playing here today. Baldwin Wallace 16th, dropping from 13th. Spartans dropping from 14th to 23rd. As a stolen base there on ball one. Carinci moves up to third. One and two count, two away. Marisek a chance now to give his team the lead with a base hit. Saunders ahead in the count, and he's been effective when he's been ahead in the count today. That one misses outside for a ball. Not sure that's where Saunders wanted it to go. That's that same pitch he's been parking on the outside corner to right-handed hitters today with pretty good success, but I think that one slipped out of his hand a bit. See if he tries to come to that again or maybe tries to jam Marisek inside with a fastball. The 2-2. Nope, tried to come back to that outside corner and missed, and it's 3-2. Of your Saunders here, do you go back to that well one more time, or you try to challenge Marisek? 3-2, two away, runner at third, 2-2 the score. Here's the pitch. And that misses up high, ball four. So now the 9-hitter coming up. This is Matt Terzola, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. And he takes that pitch for ball one, 1-0. Terzola hitting it 294. And we'll have a quick meeting on the mound here, or I should say meeting by the hitters. The entire Baldwin Wallace group out there, the on-deck hitter, all the base coaches, the runners, the hitter at the plate, all gather around head coach Brian Harrison. Harrison now in his 15th season. The meeting breaks up now, and we're just about set to get going here. Terzola ahead in the count, 1-0, with two away, first and third. If you're the Spartans, you'd be wise to take this time to discuss how you would handle a first and third situation should the runner go. Because you got to imagine there might be something that Baldwin Wallace has cooked up here. That's what Harrison wanted to discuss with his players, trying to sneak the go-ahead run across the plate. Here's the 1-0. Nothing going on yet. Is that one grounded towards third? Carinci stays back on it now, launches a throw across the diamond, stretching, and making the catch is Dane Camphausen for the final out of the inning. Good play all around there by the Spartans as they get out of the inning with just the one run in, a run on a hit for Baldwin Wallace, and we'll move to the bottom of the fourth. The Spartans coming to bat, Stilson, Harms, and Harris when we return. Tyler Stilson leading things off, takes the first pitch for a strike, and it's 0-1 on Stilson. Stilson followed by Harms and Harris in a 2-2 game. It's been a good game so far. That'll be ball one, 1-1 the count. That ball lifted in the air towards the gap, right center field, and that's down for extra bases. Stilson with an extra base hit to the opposite field. He'll turn the corner at second, but throw on the brakes there. And it's a leadoff doubler for Tyler Stilson. It's been a fun game so far. And that one hit by Harms a mile high, deep towards right field, and it's gone. A no-doubt two-run homer by Nick Harms, his first of the season, and it puts the Spartans back on top. It's 4-2. That was one of those home runs. Nobody moved. Everyone knew off the bat it was gone, and that is the power that Harms is certainly capable of producing. And it's 4-2 Spartans after that big blast from Harms. So a quick start to the inning. 3 pitches in, and the Spartans have already brought across 2 runs. Now Josiah Harris, the batter, and takes the first pitch for a called strike, 0-1. Well, this is a Spartans team that seems to have a bit more fire underneath them today. Called strike, 0-2. And down and away, ball 1, 1-2. And that's strike 3. So Harris is the first out of the inning. Now Logan Andraco will be the batter. First pitch to Andraco in the dirt as he jumps out of the way, and it's a 1-0 count. Andraco struck out swinging in his first at bat. Straub has now struck out 5 today. First 4 1/3 innings. He's up to 49 pitches. This will be his 50th of the game. That's down low for a ball. And Draco now waits the 2-0. Outside, ball 3, 3-0. And taking all the way there, and it's 3-1 count. Ground ball hit towards short. And off the glove of the shortstop and into center field. And that'll be an error on the shortstop. That is Sean Kolinek. Yeah, Kolinek tried to get in position to scoop and throw it. I think he knew he was dealing with a guy who is a pretty good base runner, and Logan Andraco, and he kind of tried to side saddle that one, and The cost of doing that is that now it's probably a calculated risk if that ball goes off your glove and you don't field it cleanly. As Carinci chops one to third, you're not getting the out anyway. Throw goes to first for the out. Moving up to second is Andraco with 2 away. We welcome back all the fans who are sitting here listening to the game on 89.3 FM today here in the stadium. Apologies for some technical difficulties there. Think we got it working now as Nate Arterburn fouls that one off. Outside for a ball, it's 1-1. 2 outs, bases empty, 2 runs across on the 2-run homer by Nick Harms. Harms was already the program's career leader in home runs. He now has, so that's taken down low. Now has 32 for his career. Next closest player in program history has 10 less. Ball 3, and it's 3-1. Runner at second is Logan Andraco. Arterburn at first. Jack Anderson, who homered earlier, out on deck. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one swung on. Grounded over to second base. Should be an easy play. Throw on to first in time to get the out. And that'll end the inning, but a 2-run home run, second of the game for the Spartans. This one coming off the bat of Nick Harms will make it a 4-2 lead for the Spartans. It'll be top of the order for Baldwin Wallace, Petreka, Rittlinger, Nyrider, and Kilbane when we come back. Top of the 5th inning coming up in what's been a fun game so far. Kind of a punch-for-punch kind of game here. It's been a fun one to watch. Baldwin Wallace scored a run in the top of the 3rd. The Spartans answered with 2 in the bottom of the 3rd on a 2-run homer by Jack Anderson. Baldwin Wallace scored 1 in the top of the 4th. Case Western Reserve answered back with 2 in the bottom of the 4th on a 2-run homer by Nick Harms. And that's where we stand heading into the 5th inning. Top of the order for Baldwin Wallace. This will be Carson Petreka coming up. Petreka drove in the first run of the game with a 2-out double in the 3rd inning. An unearned run against Quinn Saunders, who has looked like his old self so far here today. First pitch missed in for ball 1, 1-0. He's He's not quite as sharp as he was earlier in the day when he really mowed through the lineup through the first time through the order. That one, Petrecka fouls it off his foot, and after his predecessor left the game due to an injury early on, that's Ryan Gordon. Petrecka will take a little time to get the blood flowing back to his foot there after fouling that one off. So 1-1 count here. Top of the 5th inning, 4-2 Spartans with the lead. Another one chop foul. It's 1-2. 2 more games to follow this one today. We will not have coverage of those. It'll be Ithaca versus Arcadia at 2:30 and Arcadia against Swarthmore at 6 o'clock. All the games today have been pushed back an hour to accommodate daylight savings time. That ball grounded towards third, foul ball. Not by much as the count stays at 1-2. You might say to yourself, well, 10 o'clock, people can get up early enough. That's not too bad, even if it's 9 o'clock on a normal day. Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience this morning, a 10 o'clock first pitch, or in this case, an 11 o'clock first pitch, which is what was moved back up to, means that you have to be here at the field to hit by about 8:30, which means if you're the home team, which means you need to be out of the hotel by about 7:45, which means you have to have breakfast by that point, which means you need to be up by about 6:30, which is really 5:30 time if you're still considering yesterday as the ground out there by Petrecka for the first out of the inning. And so move everything up an hour, you'd essentially be telling a bunch of college kids to get out of bed at about 4:30 in the morning to get to the field by about 10 o'clock. So, really it makes sense to push that start time back an hour, which is what all the coaches did here. So 1 away now, and that'll be ball 1 to Rittlinger Nyrider with 1 out and the bases empty here in the 5th. 73rd pitch of the game from Saunders. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Now this is what the Spartans really need from Saunders. As much of anything, it's just to get a guy who could set the tone for this rotation. Fouled away, 1-2. But again, if you're the Spartans, and it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this week, is I think this is typically the week where roles on the team become a little bit more solidified, whether it's pitching, whether it's parts of the lineup, whether it's, guys that you could trust out of the bullpen, guys in your starting rotation. By the way, a pitching change here for the Spartans, actually. This is Zach Barnes in the game currently. So I missed that one, but this is Barnes. So Barnes came in, and he delivers a called strike 3 to Rittlinger Nyrider, and that's the second out. So Barnes came in at the beginning of this inning. We'll get you some updated information on him. Now 2 outs as Barnes retires the first 2 batters he faced pretty quickly. So I think a situation where Quinn looked pretty good and now happy to build on this start and turn it over to Zach Barnes, who's pitched well. Chopper to short, bobbled by Arterburn. His throw to first is high and gets away, and that'll be an error on the shortstop. Arterburn, whether you want to call it on the throw or on the fielding attempt there, either way, it'll allow the runner to reach Kilbane with 2 outs. Barnes, who wears number 13, a right-handed pitcher. He's a 6'5" sophomore out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Chapel Hill High School. That ball grounded to second, should end the inning. Harris snags it and flips over to first in time to get the out. Johnson retired on 1 pitch. A good first inning for Barnes, who works through the fifth and works around a 2-out error. We'll move along to the bottom of the inning. Top of the order for the Spartans will be looking to add to a 2-run lead. It's 4-2. Anderson, Camphausen, and Alonso when we come back. Spartans are leading Baldwin Wallace 4-2 and looking to add on with the top of the order coming up. Jack Anderson starting to put the foot on the gas pedal, 2 for 2 with a single and a 2-run home run, and takes that pitch inside from Straub for ball 1-0 the count. Anderson, Camphausen, and Alonso, the meat of the Spartans' order coming up here this inning. The 1-0, and another breaking ball misses inside. Boy, Straub is being very careful with Anderson, who hit an opposite field home run his last time up against Straub. Here's the 2-0. And down and away, ball 3, 3-0. And Straub right now looks like he wants nothing to do with Jack Anderson. The problem is that Dane Camphausen is waiting on deck. While Camphausen has not had the best first 2 at-bats of the day, is swinging 3-0 as Anderson. It's 3-1. You do not want to put guys on base for Dane Camphausen. Strike at the knees, 3-2. And yeah, now Straub's starting to find the strike zone here against Jack. Full count, 3-2. First batter of the bottom of the 5th for the Spartans. Anderson awaits the pitch. And he swings, lifts it in the air, right field side, tailing foul out of play. Nobody throwing yet in the Baldwin Wallace bullpen. Straub up to 65 pitches. This is a Baldwin Wallace team that has not thrown a lot of pitchers this year. Just 8 pitchers have appeared in the team's first 6 games, now 7, including this one today. 3-2 on the way. Ground ball, third base. Fielded there by Petreka. Throws on to first in time for the out. And there's one gone as Anderson retired for the first time today. Got to bring Camphausen to the plate. Dane 0 for 2 so far today. He grounded into fielder's choice. Struck out swinging in his 2 trips to the plate. First pitch on the way to Camphausen. And he swings, grounds it through the vacated right side of the infield with the shift on against him. And Camphausen has his first hit of the game. You know, that's the thing with Dane, is that Dane is a power hitter, but Dane is a hitter. And he saw that Baldwin Wallace was giving him the entire right side of the infield, just went with the pitch and grounded it through. And yeah, you know, if you're Baldwin Wallace, you might say this is a guy with prodigious power, at least for the Division III level. And he's not a guy that you want to give up the home run to. You're willing, if he's going to single through the right side, you're willing to give him that. But at the same time, this is a Case Western Reserve team with a lot of bats behind Camphausen, too. And so you certainly run that risk. And we'll see if the Spartans can cash in. Franco Alonso at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today and fouls back that pitch. It's 1-1. Alonso started yesterday's game off 0 for 2 and then flipped the switch and picked up doubles and back-to-back at-bats to finish 2 for 4 in the game. Takes that up high, 2-1. Was talking with Franco yesterday. Franco is from Pasadena, California, and so I checked in with him, made sure all is okay back home for him. He said, yeah, he said worst was that the power went out for a couple days, as that one grounded through the right side. Said he had to take a couple of cold showers, but said he felt very lucky that that's the extent of the inconvenience that he felt. And he gets the base hit there. 6th hit of the game for the Spartans, who have 2 on and 1 away. They'll bring Tyler Stilson to the plate. Stilson had a double in his last at bat. Takes a called strike. Double to lead off the 4th. 1 for 2 on the day. Stilson now hitting at .393. Here's the 0-1. And he cranks that one deep down the right field line, but foul. And it goes to an 0-2 count. I was talking yesterday about Stilson and the fact that he has not pitched this season. He is expected to pitch at some point this week. And I think the Spartans are focusing more on him and keeping his bat in the lineup, but he tried to hold up there. Umpire in the field says he did. And it's a 1-2 count. That's one of those calls that if you're the umpire in the field and in a 2-umpire system, you're not necessarily going to be able to make that call from where that umpire is positioned with a right-handed hitter at the plate. They're going to be hesitant to overturn the home plate umpire's call. 2-2 now the count. Two and two, 1 away. Down and away, 3-2, and Straub, after getting ahead 0-2 on Stilson, now has a full count, 2 on, and Camphausen the lead runner. And I don't see him taking off with a 3-2 count and 1 away, especially with Harms out on deck. Here's 3-2. They are going. And he went around. The throw goes to the trailing runner. And both runners will move up on a stolen base, but Stilson struck out swinging. Double steal for Alonso and Camphausen. And now Nick Harms will be the batter here. The problem with the double steal in that situation is you now have an open base at first with Harms coming to the plate, and you leave open the opportunity for Baldwin Wallace to issue an intentional walk here to Harms and instead face Josiah Harris, who is out on deck and is 0 for 2 in the game. Again, if you're just joining us, Nick Harms, the batter due up here, 1 for 2 in the game with his first home run of the season, his 32nd of his career, most in program history. And I think if you're Baldwin Wallace here, I don't think you can pitch to Harms in this situation. It may come back to bite you, but I think you have to go after Harris. There are just so many reasons to walk Harms here. And we'll see what the discussion is. Second and third, 2 away. No sign of an intentional walk yet. Harms' last time up hit a no-doubt home run. Literally nobody moved on the field to look. The ball was well gone off the bat from Harms. They will pitch to him here. And he hits the first pitch foul, 0-1. You know, Harms hitting at .222 on the season. He's been a little cold to start the year, but he can heat up quick. That one misses inside, and again, you wonder if the conversation was, okay, you could pitch to him, but just keep it out of the strike zone against the guy. But again, I just don't think you can go after Harms in this scenario. That was a pretty good pitch. Might have ducked off the outside corner, brings the count to 1-2, and all of a sudden it shifts to the pitcher's favor here with Straub ahead in the count, and see if Harms can do something with 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Well outside for a ball, 2-2. And again, I think if you're Straub here, you've got to work outside the strike zone for at least one more pitch. And frankly, you could make 2 good pitches in a row here and not worry about throwing a ball. Let Harms reach for one. 2-2 the count. And foul tip that one back into the dirt. It stays at 2-2. Harms is taking a couple of tough cuts on what I believe is a changeup with some downward movement from Straub. And if I'm Straub, that's the pitch I'm trying to get Harms with here. I try to locate that, again, I believe a changeup off that lower outside corner. 2-2 on the way. He left that one hanging and forget about it. That ball was absolutely clobbered. It stays fair. And Nick Harms leaves the ballpark. If it don't sound excited on that one, it's because I'm in awe of what Nick Harms just did. That was a no-doubter. That might be one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen hit at the college level. And I've seen Nick Harms hit a few pretty good, but for the second time today, Harms with a no-doubter. A 3-run blast this time, and it's 7-2 Spartans. You know, Blake, who runs the scoreboard up here, just said, where did that land? And Chris, our PA announcer, just said, maybe accurately, I'm not sure it's landed yet. My gosh, ball 1 to Josiah Harris. And yeah, if you're Baldwin Wallace, you're probably wishing you had pitched around Harms a little bit more efficiently there. 2-0 now the count. Boy, that is 2 no-doubt home runs for Harms today. Who starts to heat up. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be fun to watch. Ground ball up towards the middle. Over to get as the second baseman. Throw to first, not in time. No, they say it's in time. And someone's better hold Harris back here because it looked to me like he was clearly safe. Well, Harris will head to the dugout, but boy, that was awfully close. Good play by Terzola, the second baseman, to get the out, but a 3-run, 2-out home run by Nick Harms. And the Spartans increase their lead to 7-2. We'll be back in a few minutes. Sean Kalinick set to lead things off. The shortstop takes the first pitch from Zach Barnes, down and in, ball one. Second inning of work for Zach Barnes, and after working around a 2-out error in the first inning of work, Barnes taking the hill again here. Zach, a guy the Spartans are looking to really rely on here this year out of the bullpen. Called strike, and it's 2-1. Barnes on the season, 2 appearances with a 10.80 ERA, but that's a number that could come down quickly. Called strike, it's 2-2. Nice job to battle back and even the count here by Barnes. He's pitched an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 runs, both of them earned on 2 hits with 4 strikeouts, no walks entering play today. Here's his 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Barnes. There's 1 out here in the 6th. 7-2, Spartans are leading. Cood the batter now. Cood is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout in this one. Spartans in control here as that one fouled back, and it's 0-1. Barnes has made 2 appearances this season. The first one was the rocky one against Heidelberg, went a third of an inning and allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. There by Cood, and it's 0-2. But his second outing was significantly better against Milliken, went an inning and a third and hit just 1 batter, didn't give up a run, a hit, a walk, struck out 4 in that inning and a third. 2 now the count. You could do the math there. He struck out 4 outs he got. So, you know, again, for Barnes, it's a year for him where he can be a real impactful guy out of this bullpen as the count evens 2-2. He's in line for the win with the 4-inning outing from Saunders, as that catches the outside corner with a breaking pitch for a called strike 3. And Barnes gets the second out. So I'll bring Justin Carinci to the plate, 1 for 2 with an RBI double in his last at-bat. Just 2 hits today against Spartan pitching for Baldwin Wallace. Called strike, and it's 0-1. In the dirt, 1-1. 3 home runs for the Spartans have accounted for all 7 of their runs. A 2-run home run in the bottom of the 3rd by Jack Anderson, a 2-run blast in the bottom of the 4th by Nick Harms, and a 3-run shot by Harms in the bottom of the 5th. All 3 hit to right field. 1-2 count now. Barnes looking for a quick inning. Carinci at the plate trying to stand in the way of that objective. Takes that up high, and it's 2-2. Barnes seems to be pitching with a little bit more confidence this year than he did last year, and that's to be expected by a first-year pitcher. A little bit of an up-and-down season for Barnes, but locked in so far his last 2 appearances. This one grounded to short, should end the inning. Long throw from Arterburn, there in time to get the out. And the inning is over. So 1-2-3 inning for Barnes, who has sat down 6 of the 7 batters he's faced today in relief, and will move to the 6th. It'll be the bottom of the Spartans' order, and Draco, Carinci, and Arterburn due up when we come back. 7-2, Spartans leading. Bottom of the sixth, Spartans leading 7-2. New pitcher on the mound for Baldwin Wallace is Carson Wilcox, the first-year righty out of Dublin, Ohio. First pitch is a strike to Andreyko, 0-1. First career appearance for Wilcox, who comes into the game with his team down 5. Mentioned earlier that this is a Baldwin Wallace team that has not thrown a lot of pitchers this year. 8 total coming into today's game through their first 6 games of the year. That misses outside, 2-1. So the 9th pitcher of the season used is Wilcox. Ground ball foul. It's one of the, I don't know, advantages of playing in a tournament like this, but you know, certainly what you do is that you can really push your pitching staff and see some of those options you have in the bullpen, knowing that you're going to have to go, you know, probably 4 or 5 starters deep. So that misses outside. Ball 3, full count 3-2 on Andreyko to lead off the 6th. Away. Count stays at 3-2. Andreyko waits. 3-2 offering for Andreyko, a .346 hitter this year. And he'll foul that one back. Andreyko 0 for 2 today. Struck out swinging, reached on an error by the shortstop. Trips to the plate. That ball lifted in the air pretty deep to center field, but playable on the run. And making the catch is Rittlinger Nyrider for the out. And there's one retired here in the 6th. So one out from the base is empty for Zach Carinci, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs today. Hitting 143 on the year, 1 for 7. And he takes the fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. And can't hold up there, 0-2. One of the great hitters in program history and trying to find his swing here. Won't end this at bat as he comes up empty. And that'll be the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 away now for Nate Arterburn. Chance for a quick inning of work here. His first inning for Wilcox. It's taken up high for a ball, 1-0. Arterburn 0 for 2, reached on an error in the 3rd, came around to score a run, and grounded out to second base in the 4th. Lifts this one in the air, foul down the first base line. Running out of room is the first baseman Kilbane as it lands out of play. And the count goes to 1-1. High, 2-1. Down and away, 3-1. And if you're a Baldwin Wallace pitcher, frankly, if you're any pitcher facing the Spartans, you don't want to be issuing free passes to the bottom of this lineup. Too many dangerous hitters at the top. 3-1 here. That one swung on, line drive hit over to short, and making the play there is Kolinik. Kalinick, for the out. And that'll end the sixth. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on in the 6th for the Spartans. To the top of the 7th we go. And it'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Baldwin, Wallace, Marisek, Cherzola, and Petreka, with the Spartans leading 7-2. Baldwin Wallace coming to bat down 5 as we move into the latter third of the game. Zach Barnes has pitched 2 hitless innings out of the bullpen so far, in line for the win if the Spartans hold on, and starts off the 8-hitter in the Baldwin Wallace lineup, left fielder Joey Marisek, with a first pitch ball, 1-0. That one fouled back, and it's 1-1. It has been a power day at the plate for the Spartans. We've gotten 2 home runs and 5 RBIs from Nick Harms, another 2-run homer from Jack Anderson. As that ball, speaking of home runs, lifted in the air deep towards left field, going back as Alonso, still going back, and it's off the base of the wall. Long ride there from Marisek, who pulls in at second base with a long double. And he has something cooking here to start off the 7th. And it looks like Marisek will stay in the game. He just trades off his wrist guard. So he'll head back to second base to run the bases here. And we'll get a pinch hitter here for Terzola. That is Brandon Mitchell. Let me confirm that that's Marisek out there. That might be... Yeah, that's number 28 out there, so not Marisek, as a called strike. On the count on Mitchell. See if Barnes can pitch around some trouble here with Mitchell at the plate. As the count goes to 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barnes gets the strikeout on 3 pitches. Now back to the top of the lineup with Carson Petreka coming to the plate. I believe that was Owen Brazy pinch hitting there for Marisek. Pitch taken low for ball one. Swing and a miss. And that's a wild pitch that will get away. The count evens 1-1. Swing and a miss, and the count now 1-2. Soft grounder to third, should get the run in. Over to first to get the out. There are 2 gone in the inning. Now the count on Rittlinger, Nyrider. 2-0. And a strike there brings count to 2-1. Foul back, 2-2. Barnes a chance to get out of the inning. All 3, so full count 3-2 with the bases empty and 2 away. In the air, center field, pretty deep. Going back is Andreyko, still going back, and it's over his head. Going into second base with a double is Rittlinger, Nyrider. He's standing at second base with 2 away. 7-3 the score. Spartans leading. Batter now will be Mally Kilbane. Runner in scoring position in 2 away. 4-run lead for the Spartans. Pitches in the dirt, ball 1. Barnes in his 3rd inning of work. The bullpen is moving for the Spartans. I think that's Karthik Gandhi out there throwing. No, take that back. That's Oliver Miller. In the dirt. Nice scoop by Anderson. Brings the count to 2-0 though. Pitch. Ground ball back up the middle, playing it perfectly as Harris. His throw to first in time to get the out. Well defended by the Spartans. Baldwin Wallace gets a run on 2 hits, however, and we'll move along into the bottom of the 7th. The Spartans, as they stretch it out here, will take a 7-3 lead into the 7th inning. We'll be back. Three and 1 the count on Anderson to lead off the 7th inning. Anderson having a nice day. 2 for 3 so far for Jack at the plate. It'll be Anderson, Camphausen, and Alonso. Top of the order for the Spartans, and Anderson draws the walk to get things going. Camphausen looking to get on base here. 1 for 3 in the game. Takes that one right on the inside corner. The breaking ball for a called strike. It's 0-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. 7-3 Spartans leading. New pitcher on the mound for Baldwin Wallace this inning. As Camphausen skies that one, right field along the line, should have room, and pulling it in is the right fielder. That's Carinci for the first out of the inning. I'll bring Franco Alonso to the plate. The new pitcher on the mound is the senior out of Middleburg Heights, Mason Decker, 6 foot tall, 200-pound righty. This is his first appearance of the season. We'll face Alonso here with 1 out. And Anderson, a stolen base threat at first. First pitch is down low, 1-0. Not exactly sure where everyone will end up batting. But Carson Petreca has moved over to shortstop as that one hits Franco Alonso on the backside, and he'll go to first base. Moving to second is Anderson for Tyler Stilson, the designated hitter. And we'll get a pinch hitter here for a pinch runner, I should say, for Alonso. I believe that's Tommy Moonen who's coming in to pinch run. So Moonen into the game to pinch run is the trailing runner here. Taking over in left field for Baldwin Wallace is John Pansteris. Stilson takes that outside for ball one, 1-0. The new third baseman is Grant Mitchell. First baseman Mally Kilbane moved over to second. And then coming in to play first is Nathan Zinn. Called strike to Stilson, and it's a 1-2 count on the Spartans' designated hitter, batting at .379 on the year. Looking for his first hit of the season in Lexington. Or pardon me, he had a double earlier today, so 1 for 3. With 2 strikeouts and a double. Takes that pitch outside for a ball. It's 2-2. Man of the day is out on deck, and Nick Harms, who has 2 home runs already. Here's the 2-2. Well outside, full count 3-2. Nice at bat here by Stilson. Again, 7-3 the score, but the Spartans are threatening here in the bottom half of the 7th. As Stilson, with the runners going, loops that in the air, shallow right to get it, and making the catch for the out is Carinci. And there are 2 retired now. Second out of the inning that Carinci has recorded on a fly ball to right. And that will bring Nick Harms to the plate. Harms hit a no-doubt 2-run homer, his first of the season, back in the 4th inning, and then in the 5th inning, after hitting a no-doubt home run his previous at-bat, hit a no-doubtier home run his next time up for a 3-run blast. Fouls off the first pitch there, and it's 0-1. Harms came to bat his last time up with first base open and with second and third and 2 outs. Baldwin Wallace opting to pitch to Harms, and that came back to bite them. Here's the 0-1. Down and in, and it's 1-1. On the outside corner with an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2. So Decker has a chance to work around some trouble here in the 7th after allowing 2 runners to reach. Walk and a hit batter. Now 1-2 count. Down and out, ball 2, 2-2. Josiah Harris out on deck, hoping to get a chance to swing this inning. There's the 2-2 on the way to Harms. That ball hit in the air deep towards center, but should be playable. Charging in now is the center fielder and making the catch. Out in center field is Rittlinger Nyrider for the final out of the inning. And the Spartans will leave 2 stranded as we move along into the 8th. It's 7-3, Case Western Reserve leading. We'll be back in just a minute. New pitcher on the mound for the Spartans is the first-year Oliver Miller, who's been impressive so far out of Lorton, Virginia, St. Stephen's and St. Agnes High School. He's a 6-foot-tall, 220-pound righty, and he has looked sharp so far this season. 1-0 through 2 appearances. First pitch swinging, that one's popped up. Third base side, Carinci there, makes the catch, and Johnson retired on 1 pitch from Miller. And we'll get a pinch hitter here. Get a pinch hitter here will be Jace Druschel, who I think is pinch hitting for Zinn, but we'll have to find out. We also have another pinch hitter out on deck. Looks like number 20, Colin West, is out there. Top of the 8th inning, Spartans on top by 4. That one's up high for a ball, 1-1. Miller has looked really good early on in his Spartan career. Outside for a ball, 2-1. Through 2 1/3 innings, he's yet to surrender a hit, now 2 2/3, including the previous out. I think Jack Anderson got a little dust in his eye. Umpire giving him a second to collect himself. Miller, through those 2 1/3 innings, has struck out 5. He's walked 1. And this is inside. It's now 3-1. Three-one for Miller. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 2. Miller came with a changeup there, and Druschel expecting a fastball. Ended up coming up empty on a big cut. Up high, ball 4. So the walk issued by Miller. And Matt Englander coming out now to have a talk with Miller. This is Miller's 3rd appearance of the year. He pitched an inning against Heidelberg, struck out 3, all 3 batters he faced. Then against Spalding, pitched a big inning and a third, and that come from behind, 7-5 Spartan win. Faced 6 batters, struck out 2, walked 1. Also issued a hit by pitch, did not give up a hit. And we'll get the pinch hitter here. As Colin West will check in. West hitting at .545 on the season. 6 for 11 with a double and an RBI. Batting here with 1 out and a runner on the pitch. Fastball knee high for a strike. Was it? He did call it a strike. So it's 0-1. Plate umpire today has not been the most demonstrative on a few scenarios behind the plate. Carinci is out on deck as the count evens 1-1. Action starting in the Spartan bullpen. I believe that's Anton Sabo warming up out there. Called strike with the breaking ball at the knees, and it's 1-2. I would imagine Englander targeting a lefty for Sabo as the 1-2 on the way. And that'll be a strike 3 swinging, and Miller gets the strikeout, and there are 2 gone in the frame. And that will bring Carinci to the plate. So Nathan Zinn is out on deck. As a called strike to Carinci brings the count to 0-1. Foul back, and it's 0-2. One and 2 the count. Miller trying to finish off the inning here in the 8th, the 1-2 pitch. And they'll check in the field. No, they won't. They'll be ball 2, 2-2. Full count, 3-2. Runner from first will get an early start. Three and 2 the count. 2 away, runner at first. They won't hold him on. Runner goes. The pitch. Swung on, grounded toward short. Backhanded there by Arterburn. Long throw to first, not in time. It'll be an infield single for Carinci. Druschel moves up 90 feet to second. And that will bring Zinn to the plate. And he pops the first pitch back, foul and out of play, 0-1. Down and out for the ball. And a timeout call as the count goes to 2-1. Two-one pitch. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Fouled off, and the count stays at 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that ends the inning. So a scoreless inning for Miller, and we'll move to the bottom of the 8th. 7-3 the score, Spartans leading when we come back. Josiah Harris leading things off against the new pitcher for Baldwin, Wallace. Harris looking to get going here. He's off to a slow start to the season. Falls behind in the count 0-1. Swing and a miss there, and it's 0-2. Harris 0 for 3 with a strikeout today. And takes that outside 1-2. New pitcher on the mound is Nolan Kelliker, number 35, a junior and a lefty out of Dover, Ohio. Kelliker yet to appear in a game as a pitcher this year. That one's taken for ball 2. It's 2-2. Bottom of the 8th inning, 4-run lead for the Spartans. 3-2, full count. Good job by Harris to work his way back to a full count. Kelliker mentioned he has not appeared in a game as a pitcher. He's 0 for 2 at the plate this season. Here's the 3-2. That ball into the air pretty deep to left field, going back, and it's over the head of the left fielder and off the base of the wall. Harris with a big turn at second. That's Druschel out there in left, by the way. Leadoff double for Josiah Harris to get the Spartans started in the 8th as they look to add on some insurance runs. And now Logan Andreyko will be the batter. By the way, a couple of other defensive changes. As I mentioned, Druschel coming into play left. The other change is that coming into catch is Mason Fix. As Andreyko falls behind 0-1. Hits that one hard and through the infield for a base hit. Harris plays it safe with nobody out. And stops at third. So there'll be runners on the corners with nobody out, and Zach Carinci, the batter. Currency 0 for 3 in this one with 2 groundouts and a strikeout swinging. First pitch on the way. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes it inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Flip to second for 1, on to first, spiked, and they'll say he's out. Goes a 6-4-3 double play. That is the second close play at first base today that has not gone in the Spartans' favor. A run does come in to score, but no RBI for Currency, as the Spartans increase their lead to 8-3. Looks like we may get a pitching change here. Let's see, is Brian Harrison coming out, and he will make the change. And so, with an 8-3 lead for the Spartans, 2 outs in the inning, new pitcher for Baldwin Wallace when we come back. New pitcher on the mound for Baldwin Wallace will be Tyler Vogel, and I think this is a case of Brian Harrison wanting to get Vogel into the game today. He's a first-year pitcher from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, a 5'11", 155-pound lefty. And for Vogel, this will be his first collegiate appearance. He'll come with 2 outs and the base is empty. And again, I think this is just one of those spots where say, okay, we're down 4. Let's see if we could get a collegiate debut out of the way. And actually, you're down 5 now. But let's see if we get a collegiate debut out of the way in a low-pressure situation, get 1 out, and go from there. Vogel will face the 9-hitter, Nate Arterburn, with the bases empty and 2 outs. You have to be careful of here is that if you're Vogel, you've got to be aggressive going after Arterburn because you've got Anderson following him and Camphausen after that. First pitch strike, 0-1, and you've got to know if you're Arterburn here. And Nate's going to see a lot of pitches to hit, but based on where he hits in the lineup, but you should see a few extra here. Takes a cut and a miss at that one, and it's 0-2. Vogel a strike away from a very quick outing. Here's the 0-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Vogel gets the out, and we'll move to the 9th. Last chance for Baldwin Wallace. Trailing by 5. It's 8-3. It'll be Mitchell, Petreka, and Rittlinger Nyrider due up when we come back. Well, if the Spartans can hold on here, this will be a fun one for them to get here today. Do your job in the early game, get the rest of the day off, and then turn your attention towards Arcadia tomorrow at noon. I will tell you that the weather tomorrow not looking great here in Lexington, and so make sure you check athletics.case.edu for any updates to the schedule. Again, I would not be surprised if we are playing around some raindrops, best case scenario tomorrow. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters due up this inning for Baldwin Wallace. Mitchell, Petreka, and Rittlinger Nyrider due up. Here in the last chance to face Oliver Miller, who pitched a scoreless 8th inning, working around a walk and a single. Mitchell is second bat of the game, struck out swinging his first time up and takes a called strike from Miller there. It's an 0-1 count. Not a save situation for Miller, who entered the game with a 4-run lead to start the 8th. Called strike, and it's 0-1. He allowed the first hit of his collegiate career back in the 8th. The 0-2 offering. Down and away for a ball, 1-2. Miller threw 23 pitches in the first inning. His first inning, I should say, the 8th inning. 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors today for Baldwin Wallace. The Spartans with 8 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. 7 of the 8 runs coming by way of home runs. A 2-run shot from Jack Anderson to get the Spartans scoring started in the bottom of the 3rd. Then Nick Harms hit a 2-run blast in the 4th. He hit another home run in the 5th, the 3-run shot, and then the Spartans just adding a run in the 8th. 3-2, full count. On Mitchell. Petreka out on deck. Here's 3-2. Line drive, right field. Harms over, reaches down and makes the catch for the out. So 1 gone here in the 9th. Baldwin Wallace down to their final 2 outs. This will be Petreka, who came off the bench early in this game to replace Gordon at 3rd base. He's now the shortstop and takes a called first strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 for Miller. Outside corner, good fastball, 0-2. Miller ahead of the batter, 0-2, second straight hitter he's done that against. Gets a foul ball there, and its count stays at 0-2. Rittlinger Nyrider out on deck for Baldwin Wallace. Ground ball to short. Arterburn gets it to first in time, 2 gone. Miller just an out away from giving the Spartans a win over a ranked opponent. It'll be the Spartans' first win over a ranked opponent this season, should they hold on for the win. Standing his way is Rittlinger Nyrider, who doubled in his last at bat. Takes a called strike there, and it's 0-1. 1 for 3 in the game is Rittlinger Nyrider. Up high, ball 1. 1-1 the count. Line drive center field, charging in hard is Trout, slides, and he makes the catch, and that'll do it. The Spartans behind A pretty good start from Quinn Saunders, 2 home runs from Nick Harms, and some great work from the bullpen once again. Go on to pick up an 8-3 win over Baldwin Wallace and improve to 500 on the season. Case Western Reserve now 4-4, on the season. Baldwin Wallace drops to 4-3. Winning pitcher today is Zach Barnes. Barnes raises his record to 1-0 for the campaign. He had a nice relief outing here. No save in the game. The loss goes to Baldwin Wallace starting pitcher Patrick Straub, who drops to 1-1 on the season. Game lasted 2 hours and 35 minutes. Attendance here was 487. Want to thank everyone once again for joining us. We will see you again tomorrow when Case Western Reserve slated to play Arcadia. That game scheduled currently for a noon start. Once again, final score 8-3, Spartans with the win. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.